Welcome to Let's Play Gran Turismo 3, episode 42. Alrighty then, we only have 2 more A-license events we need to get through. One of them is the Amateur Tourist Trophy, and the other one is the Amateur Altezza Race. And as you may probably know from what I showed in the Beginner League, both of them are, of course, as you would expect, championship events. And so I'm going to do the cheaper of those 2 options, which is, of course, going to be Tourist Trophy. And as for the car I'm going to use, well, obviously, I'm going to use my Audi TT. Because it is the only car that is applicable for the event. So obviously, I'm just gonna get in this bad boy, and also, just because I want to, I'm gonna change the rims as well. Yeah, sure, I'll put on the Dunlops. Now let's get to the tuning. So obviously, handling is going to be a problem, so I'm going to put on the semi-racing suspension, so I have more control, and also going to put on sport brakes. And I think the laps in this are 3 laps, and also going to put on racing exhaust. And I'm also going to put on a racing chip, along of course with a stage 2 turbo. And I'm also going to put on the racing intercooler. And I'm also going to include this with some sport tyres. And last but certainly not least, stage 1 of weight reduction. Alright, hopefully that should be enough. So here we fucking go, to the Amateur Tourist Trophy. And by this time, we win 10 grand if we can win each of these races, and obviously this is the only car that officially has permission to enter this event, and these are our 5 circuits. So the circuits we are going to are Seattle, Special Stage Route 5, Trial Mountain, Rome, and Deep Forest Reverse. For the finale, let's get on with this shit. And I think as far as I know, all 3 of these races are 3 laps each. If my memory serves me correctly, and yes they are. And just gonna check to be sure. Yep. Alrighty then. Let's go to race number 1. Hopefully, I officially have enough horsepower to win 4 out of 5 races. And hopefully this thing should be able to drive easier. At the moment, I'm off to a bad start. So I really had to get the elbows out if I was going to slot myself in there through the hairpin, but officially I'm now up into the 4th position, and right now I'm closing in on the leader. And I'm starting to question my decision in not having on the customizable transmission. But hopefully that will not be too much of a questionable decision, as I now dart myself down the inside, up into 2nd position now, behind the leader, and up into the lead I go, officially, for the first time. Here we in Seattle, even though realistically I only really need to win pretty much 3 out of 5 of these races in order to officially be declared the champion, and then I can let consistency do the rest. But of course, it will surprise me if I do manage to win 4 out of 5 races, because from what I've heard in the past, the Amateur Tourist Trophy is definitely nowhere near as easy as the Beginner Tourist Trophy was. So obviously, all the upgrades I put on this thing are completely necessary, because apparently it might be the final race in the Amateur Tourist Trophy is also apparently the hardest to win, because from previous experience, I think the final race, which is at Deep Forest Reverse, I think, from what I can remember, the AI appear to be harder to beat at Deep Forest Reverse than they do around other circuits. So even though I'm making it look piss easy at the moment, the truth is, realistically, it is not as easy as you might think. And I am driving like garbage right now. But at least I know with a semi-racing suspension I can actually control this thing without feeling too deflated about the weight on this fucking thing. But officially, as I would have expected, the first race is proving to be easy. But from my previous experience, I'm pretty sure these AI probably will turn up the wick in the other races. So, anyways, through the chicane for the second time, and now starting the final lap of race 1, where I now lead by pretty much 4 seconds. So, building up my momentum obviously, but I certainly don't anticipate this to be too easy for me to win, because I'm pretty confident with my current tuning that I can probably win 3 out of 5 races, maybe 4 if I get lucky, but dependent on knowing if I'll make this a clean sweep or not, that remains to be seen. Because even though I am able to extend my margin through the second and third sectors, these AI really appear to be closing in on me through the first sector. So apparent as it might be, we're pretty much split 50-50 at the moment. But overall, the prize card doesn't really matter because, well, we only really get 1 prize car from the Amateur Tourist Trophy, but obviously I'm not going to reveal what that is. So obviously, me going back and trying to see if I can get a different prize card, that ain't going to be a problem, I don't think. But officially, as I expected, rubber banding by Amateur League standards is still proving to be pretty strong. Because these AI are not letting me extend by too much, even though I am able to be stronger in the final sector. Anyways, I win. By a slender margin of 3.4 seconds over silver, then it was blue in third, followed by green, then I think it was grey in fifth, and then at the back was black. So these are the current standings in Tourist Trophy, as I have a 4-point interval on silver, then blue is third, followed by green, grey is in 5th, and then at the back with 1 point is black. So will I win every race in the Amateur Tourist Trophy? Probably not, but am I going to try my hardest in seeing if I can win every race? Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Actually, no. I won't save it here. I'll go somewhere else. You know what? I think I will save my replay at Route 5. But anyways, Race 2 of the Amateur Tourist Trophy. Let's see if I can more or less do the same thing as to what I did in Seattle. Just basically wait for the AI to bottle it at some point in the course and then see if I can maybe benefit from their mistakes without making any of my own. Up into the 3rd position I go, and already these AI, as I expected, they are getting sketchy. And I am still continuing to make unnecessary contact with these AI. Short shifting so I don't get any wheel spin, because apparent as it might be for a 4-wheel drive, this thing does get a lot of wheel spin. And going for a manoeuvre round the outside, a little bit of contact there with his left front and my right rear, but managing to take the lead here at Route 5, and already it looks like I'm now going to lead this thing pretty much up to the end, hopefully. And braking through the tunnel so I don't spin into the wall on the right hand side, and I still make contact with the inside barrier, but fortunately no real damage was done, and officially it now looks like I probably have made this a little bit too easy. Although, at the moment at least, the interval does not look like it's building up too much. Even though for me at the very least, I am able to stretch my legs out with this thing in the early stages, and as I anticipated, these AI are definitely closing in, because they are not letting me stretch out the interval by too much. Even though obviously there was definitely some chaos on the final lap in Seattle, right before the chicane, because I'm pretty sure it was Silver that made contact with Blue. Everyone pretty much wrecked at the penultimate corner, and then suddenly, right before the chicane, Silver managed to take the Silver away from Blue. I think that's what happened. even though it will surprise me if I do manage to win every race in this championship, it will definitely surprise me. Meanwhile, I am now just over 2.15 seconds clear ahead of Blue, at least according to Sector 2 on the third lap, but fortunately for me at least, it does not look like he is going to mount a challenge. So, looks like I'm going to be untouched, and all I really have to do now is just survive the final corner, and then victory for the second race running is mine. So there we go. It is 2-0 to me and 0 to the AI. And as I expected, they closed up in that final sector. Won by 1.8 seconds in the end. Green also managed to overtake Blue, and Black was able to overtake Grey. So these are the updated point standings now, as of which it looks like Silver up to the fourth race will probably be on a perfect streak of possibly 24 points, because I'm not betting I'll win the final race. And we also have two ties, one for third and also another one for fifth. So whatever happens from the third race onwards could very well decide the results of both third and fifth respectively. Well, at least it's easy money, and obviously money is one thing I do need for the succeeding championship to this one. Alright, so 2 races down and still 3 to go. Can we make this a clean sweep, I wonder? We shall wait and see. Anyways, onwards to race 3, where this time we are racing at Trial Mountain, like we did in the beginning. And shifting up into third gear so I can limit the wheel spin. Because with the weight of this thing, wheel spin is actually a thing from a four-wheel drive such as this one. I think it's mainly because of its accessible weight, and I think you need to do pretty much all 3 stages of weight reduction in order to stop that from happening. But obviously I'm not going to, because I dare to challenge myself. Got a little bit loose there as I was battling for 5th there with Grey. Did not mean to force him into the mountain, but obviously we are now heading down the backstretch, and as I expected, his AI do have the initial advantage over me. Which means now is the time for me to be fighting for these positions. Which effectively means that for the first time in this championship I now have to work my way up to get the positions I want. Oh shit! Just cut the corner there. Was trying to keep it on the curbs. Officially, at the moment, Blue is actually running in second, and he has quite an interval over both Green and Silver. Meanwhile, I pretty much harpoon myself down the inside and up into the lead. and still continuing to get loose on the rear end, but fortunately I do of course manage to put myself up into the first position, and officially I am hopeful in saying that I have managed to at least work my way up for 3 out of 5 victories. Because even with all of this tuning, I'm pretty certain these AI probably will be quicker than me for at least one race. Because that is the way it usually happens in the 5 race championships. Even though obviously at the moment I've only done one 10 race championship, and that was the the beginner GT World Championship. Although obviously I would say at the moment I am very much on course to potentially a hat-trick of wins with my red TT Quattro. Pretty certain I do have enough tuning to go for 3 out of 5 wins, and as I expected, is AI not letting me stretch my legs by too much in terms of interval, but officially I am now 2.1 seconds clear of Blue, who quite surprisingly at the moment is running in second, and for his sake he is probably hoping to stay there so he can officially battle onwards for 3rd in the championship ahead of Green, considering obviously those two were tied coming into this race. And this is definitely going to cause a shuffle in points, as I just look behind me. And as I expected, I now have a freight train behind me. But looks like I may have the horsepower to fend them off, and doesn't look like I'm under any real threats as I head through the 3rd consecutive hairpin here, and heading through the final chicane now, and coming across the line, and it is a hat-trick of victories for the red TT. I have emerged the victor once again for the third time consecutively. And that was a pretty close race from 2nd to 6th, because that was only like 2.4 seconds. And so these are the updated point standings after 3 races. So I now have 3 wins on the trot. Silver is still in 2nd, Blue has now managed to break the points tie and move up into 3rd, ahead of Green. Black has now also managed to break his point tie with Grey, and he is now a single point clear of Grey. So for these AI, there is going to be no perfect scores in terms of positions they finish in, fortunately. And I already have a replay saved, so obviously don't need to save another one at Trial Mountain. Anyways, race 4, and we are in Rome. Hopefully I can make this 4 out of 5 wins, but I'm only hoping and praying, because I do not want to jinx my efforts. And shifting up into 3rd as always, so I limit the wheel spin, and I still get a terrible launch when it comes to grid start formations, but obviously that's more or less expected when you are driving with pretty much all assists off, and obviously that is just the way I choose to drive. And as I expected, his AI for pretty much the 4th race in a row on the first lap are getting sketchy, and Black is trying to go for a manoeuvre on Blue. Don't know who will emerge as the winner, but obviously, meanwhile for me, I'm currently engaged in combat with Green, and down the inside I go, and officially coming home to take the lead for the 4th time in this championship. Obviously, tuning of course very much compulsory for the Amateur League, because the AI are obviously driving more powerful cars, and in some cases it would seem poignant for me to officially win 5 out of 5 races by basically just dominating the things, and there is definitely some chaos going on back there, as of which Blue now moves up into the 3rd position, and Black is also engaged in this fight at the moment as he is currently running 2nd, and meanwhile Green has now dropped back from 2nd to 6th in just a matter of pretty much half a lap, and oh shit! And now Blue has officially fallen back as a result of that crash through the 1st corner. Meanwhile, there is me. And as we now head up to the 2nd sequence of Coliseum corners, heading through these two 90-degree right-handers, and down through the Coliseum section we go now. And officially, his AI are just literally demolishing each other at the moment, which is basically allowing me to extend through Sector 2, but somehow they are able to close up again through the 1st sector, as well as the 3rd sector. So they are really keeping me on my toes at the moment. And they are still wrecking through that 2nd right-hander. Anyways, final lap of the penultimate race of Tourist Trophy, and where officially it very well looks like I'm probably going to win 4 out of 5 races, but dependent on knowing if I will win the final race or not, that remains a mystery. Possibly also a destiny, because I'm pretty certain from previous experience with this championship, this AI probably will have the edge over me at Deep Forest Reverse. And furthermore, I'm actually not kidding, I probably do think they'll have the edge over me. But at the very least, I have managed to win 4 out of 5 races with relative ease. Well, I am going to win 4 out of 5 races with relative ease. And if I do manage to make this a clean sweep, I will probably be very surprised. But for the time being, I'm definitely not willing to question the unfathomable authorities of knowing if I will or won't get a perfect score. But anyways, there we go. It is 4 out of 5 to red. And Black really had a good run in that race, because officially there was a lot of carnage going on behind me, and that was the only reason why I effectively won that race. And also furthermore, this does now cause a shuffle in the standings as well. So it's 4 out of 5 to me, and still nil points to the AI because they still have 0 wins. And officially, I think it's fair to say that Black by now has probably solidified his 5th position. Meanwhile, there is still a fight going on for 2nd between Silver and Blue, and whichever one of the two wins that fight will officially be 2nd place in the standings. But mathematically, I am officially the champion, because I won 4 out of 5 races. So, no matter what happens in the final race, I'm basically confirmed the champion. And chances of winning, very minimal. But am I going to try and win it anyway? Yes. So, let's get to it. Also furthermore, I should probably note, I've driven nearly 100 kilometers in this thing. And this time shifting up into 4th gear and definitely proving to be the most beneficial choice to see if I can still limit my wheel spin, and fortunately that theory has proven to be correct for once. And as I expected, these AI still being pretty tough on the start, but obviously I am at least managing to engage myself in a fight for glory. And as I expected, these AI are definitely faster than me down the straights, and I just fucked up that. Almost following the AI is that outside wall, and we are still wrecking each other on this first lap. And, oh, fuck you. I have no idea how I did not hit that wall. And this is exactly what I feared was going to happen. And I'm pretty confident I will probably not win this race, judging by how quick these AI are, and also by how unfathomably slippy my car is right now. So this is basically the race I feared I would not win. But again, it doesn't matter because I've already won the championship since I won 4 out of 5 races. So the championship is already said and done. And that literally doesn't matter anymore, but for this final race, I'm definitely going to need some more tuning on if I'm going to win this. And this could very well solidify the results of the final point standings, considering who will finish in second and who will finish in third. Although, at the very least, I'm not falling too far behind. That is the good news. The bad news is, however, this race is only 3 laps, and obviously these AI are looking pacey, as I expected them to be. But like I said, I really don't have anything to worry about. But again, I am still going to try my hardest to fight for these positions, because obviously that's what I have to do, but it definitely does not look like I'm going to get the win. I might as well clarify that. I will not win 5 out of 5 races. Might as well make that clear. it looks like I'm going to stay in 5th, because his AI are clearly faster than me in this final race, and obviously, if I do manage to finish this one in 5th position, even that will probably be an achievement. Although in saying that, there is also the possibility I can finish in 4th. If I can get enough of a run, but it doesn't look like it. I have no idea how I did not make contact with that inside wall, but it's really going to have to be pretty much a last-ditch effort if I'm going to get 4th position. And, oh shit, really had to get the elbows out there, but somehow it's worked. I am now up into the 4th position, and that is pretty much where I'll finish. Okay. Son of a bitch, I had to work for that one. Really had to get the elbows out if I was gonna get that one. But there we go. 4 out of 5 races won, and obviously, as I expected, I definitely need more tuning if I'm going to win the final race with this thing. So obviously, there's no point in selling it. But anyways, these are your final point standings. So in the end, I won by 18 points over Blue, then it was Silver in 3rd with 19 points. Black eventually finished in 4th with 17 points following his 2 consecutive 2nd places. Green was eventually 5th, and then at the back was Grey. And we get another keychain. And the truth is, I actually don't mind receiving keychains. And just for confirmation purposes, yep, I do have a replay saved, and let's now get our trophy. And we win a staggering 40 grand from this. I seriously forgot how big the payouts are for the championship winner. Anyways, what prize card do we win this time? We win ourselves an Audi S4. So this is basically the only prize card we win from this event. It just comes in different colours, I guess, would be the main purpose of what I'm trying to point out, but there we go. 4 out of 5 races won, and I still have that one race at Deep Forest Reverse that I need to sweep up, and definitely need some more tuning if I'm going to do that. But there we go. Now we just have one event left, and that is the Altezza race. Meanwhile, I am now 35.4% complete, and I now have a total of 128 wins. And so this is our prize car. In Cactus Green Pearl Effect, an Audi S4. Very nice. Anyways, we now have just one event left, and that is the Amateur Altezza race. So there we go. We now have just one A-license event remaining, and that is the Amateur Altezza race. So stay tuned for when I finally manage to buy the Lexus, which is the car I'm using. But yeah, stay tuned.